This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and it's my goal here on the podcast to introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. Our title sponsor is Community Matters, Inc. With nearly 20 years in the chamber industry and over 100 media awards presented to their chamber partners, Community Matters provides the R&R that every chamber needs, revenue and recognition. When it comes to publishing a chamber map, directory, or community guide, Community Matters has a trusted experience to help your chamber accomplish your goals. With different advertising sales models and publication styles, Community Matters will help you create a non-dues revenue machine. Let's hear from Becky Womble, President and CEO of the Bastrop Chamber, to hear about her experience using Community Matters.
I've been using Community Matters for probably 6 or 7 years now. And in a previous life, I sold commercial printing. So I can highly recommend Community Matters because it's a complete turnkey job for any busy chamber exec. Basically, you give them a membership list, and from there, they contact your members, and it's no high pressure sales or anything. And it really is a complete turnkey job from start to finish. And it's a wonderful, beautiful printed product whenever you're finished. And I'm very sold on Community Matters. And with a printing background, big endorsement for me.
To learn how Community Matters can support your chamber with your next publication, please visit communitymattersinc.com/podcast to request your free media kit and request a proposal to find out what kind of non-dues revenue you can generate. Our guest for this episode is Danielle Fitz-Hugh. Danielle has served as president of the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce since 2017. Having held over the last 16 years positions as president at the Petersburg Chamber of Commerce and vice president of the Charlottesville Regional Chamber of Commerce. Prior to the chamber profession, Danielle spent 13 years in the financial and hospitality industries in Charlottesville, Virginia market. She's known for bringing synergy, energy, and growth through her leadership at the helm of organizations. Danielle currently serves as a fellow for the U.S. Chamber Business Leads Fellowship and is chair of the Virginia Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. She's been recognized as a nominee and recipient of several industry awards throughout her career, including the 2016 Chamber Executive of the Year by the Virginia Chamber of Commerce Executives. Danielle's involved locally in serving on boards of multiple organizations in her community. Danielle is an IOM graduate and received degrees from Averett University and Piedmont, Virginia Community College. Danielle is passionate about youth development and spends time organizing, officiating, and coaching for the Chester Church Basketball League for 300 boys ages 7 to 17, each year teaching leadership, team building, and group think through sports. Danielle, I'm excited to have you with us today on Chamber Chat Podcast. I'd love for you to take a moment to say hello to all the Chamber champions that are out there listening and share something interesting about yourself so you can get to know you a little better.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon, for having me. And hi to all of my chamber family across the country. We do become our own little family and lean on each other for support and help when we need it. We'll send out a lifeline. So hi to all of you guys that I've sent lifelines to over these many years. And I think the last question was something interesting, although you mentioned it in my bio. So most do not know that I coach and referee and run a basketball league. And so I will tell you what my husband says is I get a whole new wife for about 3 months every year because you put on this, this different hat when you are shepherding and pouring into youth and leading them to learn team sports and work together and come up with something that's called this game of basketball. So it's I don't know any, and I run and I do it for mostly boys. About 98% are all boys. And at least in the Mid-Atlantic region, as best I know, I might be the only woman running traditionally all boys in this league. I've had a few people reach out to me. So that's pretty unique, although outside the chamber industry that we're talking about today.
Yeah, no, that is unique. And kudos to you for doing that. I know I got a glimpse this year. My wife took on being the volleyball commissioner for our, volleyball league in our community. And there's a lot of work on the back end of that. And if you're, putting on the league and coaching and doing it all, and it's a lot of work beyond your day job. So
Yeah. I don't
kudos to
coach
you.
as much anymore, but I do love to referee. So
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about the Chesterfield Chamber. Give us an idea of the size of your chamber, scope of work, staff, budget, just to kind of give us an idea, perspective wise, before we get into our topic today.
yeah, so the Chesterfield Chamber next year will celebrate 25 years. And we're just around a little under 600 businesses that are members of the chamber and about a $500,000 budget annually. I have 4.5 employees. That includes myself. And we break our staff up because all chambers are very different in kind of how they lay out their work. We have a salesperson, our business development manager. Then we have someone that handles our marketing and events programming. And then we have a member relations person, which is really a retention position that works with our members and making sure they're using the benefits. We're on a tiered membership level. And so we should make sure that the investment level that they want to use is being taken care of. So they renew. And then a bookkeeper and myself.
Yeah, that engagement aspect is so huge with each part is important, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing worse than it's time to renew and they say, I didn't get anything out of the chambers. Well, you didn't take advantage
Well, you
of
didn't do
everything.
anything.
Yeah, that's
Right.
So
Yeah,
making sure they know
anything, so.
everything the chamber has to offer and really get the full value out of it. That's
great.
Great.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
So are you guys primarily traditional chamber? Do you do any tourism, economic development? What kind of work are you involved with?
Yeah, so we don't do traditional tourism or economic development. However, I serve on our local EDA. So I've kind of got this 2-part hat that I wear here in the Commonwealth. And so in our county, we work really closely with our locality in a variety of ways. We clearly, and all of my communities have been this way, we want to be partners with our local economic development, our regional economic development engine, and statewide, so that they can get businesses here and we can take care of them, because we want to make sure that we provide opportunities for our community to work and live and do business here in Chesterfield.
That's great. So I'm looking forward to our conversation today and our back and forth and setting this up. I can tell you have a passion for helping businesses build and be successful and really building strong businesses throughout your community. And we're going to be focusing our discussion today around leveraging opportunities to build businesses and tapping into some of Danielle's experience and I'm sure some stories that she'll be able to share with us that hopefully will be very relevant to other chambers that are listening today. So we will dive in deeper in that conversation as soon as we get back from this quick break. Are you looking for a year-round, affordable, and timely shop local campaign for your chamber or CVB? Look no further. Build a custom Eat, Shop, Play mobile app with App My Community by visiting appmycommunity.com/chamberchat. App My Community mobile apps are not just simple membership directory listings. They provide many more capabilities to engage with your community. Provide your residents with a robust events calendar. Partner with a local fair, festival, or farmers market to provide a schedule, map, and other resources to promote the event. Run a small business Saturday campaign any time of the year using built-in scavenger hunts. Allow your membership to communicate directly to their customers via push notifications. Your App My Community mobile app will be a unique member benefit, allow you to generate non-dues revenue with sponsorship opportunities, and best of all, provide a valuable resource to your community. Please visit appmycommunity.com/chamberchat now to receive 10% off your first year of an App My Community mobile app. Are you looking for a way to promote your business community? Look no further than Pipoli. With Piply, you can get all the tools you need to connect with your members, promote your businesses, and grow your community. Piply offers a wide range of features, including a state-of-the-art community website, a community clicker mobile app for businesses, members, and the community, a marketplace where businesses can present professional services and even sell their products, a powerful event management and community calendar system, a comprehensive commerce community management system, and a complete membership services department, all included. And best of all, Piply is only $1 per member per month after a small initial setup. That's a fraction of the cost of other management platforms. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up for Piply today and start growing your business community. Book a time to learn more at piply.com. That's PIPPILY.com to book a time to meet and learn more. We'll show you how Piply can help you promote your business community and grow your subscriptions.
Are you using chamber checks to keep shopping local in your community? Then you know that schools, hospitals, city government, and companies love buying them in bulk for their employees at the holidays. Now you can save yourself a lot of time and hassle with Yiftee, an online gift card that works exclusively at your members' businesses. It's free for you and free for your members. Email us at sales@yiftee.com. That's sales@yiftee.com.
All right, Danielle, we are back. So as I mentioned before the break, today we're talking about leveraging opportunities to build businesses. So I know just from some of your background that you shared with me that this is something that's important to you, as it should be to any chamber executive, right? That should be kind of a passion for you, is to see the businesses in your community thrive and grow and really enhance the lives of people throughout your community through successful business. But I would love to hear from your perspective what type of approach you take when we talk about leveraging opportunities to build businesses.
Yeah, so I really look at it as a twofold of education. So we have community that may or may not be in the background, understanding the day-to-day need for businesses in our community. And so every community out there has a little bit of that NIMBYism, that not in my backyard, don't build it here kind of thing. And that's not unusual. But I look at businesses, I'm going to reference something, and I should give credit. I'm going to give credit to Greg Fairchild, who used to be at the Taylor Murphy Institute at University of Virginia. So he has this theory around whales and dolphins as it relates to business. And so whales would be something like Amazon coming into your community. We just recently announced Lego coming into our community. So it'll be the first Lego manufacturing facility in the country will be here in Chesterfield. As they're coming on board, that will be a large development. I mean, again, who doesn't want Lego in their community?
Right.
But there are other types of big whales, right? And so I look at the big whales of, yes, we need the big whales, but it is really the spool of dolphins that create the community. And those spools or dolphins are your mom and pop t-shirt company that's making, you have a branded shirt on, Brandon, that says Chamber Chat. It is your commercial cleaning company that needs to go out there and get contracts. It's your caterers. It's your retailers. Those are your businesses right in your community that need the larger employees, larger companies, so that they can build a full life cycle of opportunity, of business opportunity. And so when you think of, okay, do we want Lego or Amazon in our community so that we can have auxiliary businesses then come? Because you don't want a business desert. I'm sure many of our listeners have driven through a community and you're going, well, where's the enterprise at? There was some big business that left. But if you have one whale or two whales in your community, and then you build 50, 60, 600 dolphins, when that one whale might leave, you still have all the dolphins. And so for me, what really creates opportunity is helping all those dolphins figure out how they can plug in. How can they get their next contract? Are they certified? Do they need to get MBE certified, SWAM certified? I mean, all these different things to make them the best candidate for their next piece of business.
Right. I love that analogy with the whales and dolphins, and really in today's environment, these dolphins can support these whales, worldwide, really. I mean,
That's
if we
exactly
can help
right.
them tap in and get them educated and connect them, it helps having a big whale in your community for sure, but it's not a deal breaker anymore, right? Like
That's
these
exactly
dolphins
right.
can be very healthy even without the whale in the community. Um, yeah, we're seeing that in a neighboring community to where I am right now, where Universal Studios has announced that they're bringing in a kind of a smaller scale, like a kid-oriented theme park. And, for the city, it's a huge economic development win, right? I mean, you're bringing in a lot of tourism dollars, you're bringing in a lot of jobs, employment. But the whole idea of not in my backyard, there's neighborhoods that back right up to that. And I can empathize with them. Like I don't know that I'd want a theme park in my backyard, but all the dolphins that will bring, that will feed, that will really sustain that city for a long time. There are some trade-offs, and of course infrastructure that needs to go along with it, and the whole nine yards. But
yeah, I mean, infrastructure, money for schools. I mean, every community wants to have the most money going into school budgets, right? And localities are funding those budgets at a high level, and business helps that, right? So nobody wants their home taxes, to go up, or their business taxes to go up. But the more enterprise you have in a community, the more opportunity to lower your household costs. But it also helps communities have sustainable employment, so that, your wife has time to go out and volunteer as commissioner of a volleyball group.
right.
If you've got to think and struggle about how to keep the lights on, then you don't have the time to go out and volunteer, or even have the resources to support or sponsor teams and so forth. So we really look at it as an opportunity to provide community so that they can go back and build their community. So we like to say, we build business so you can build the community.
I like that a lot. So I think as far as these whales go, for a large part, I mean, as you talk about Amazons and Legos, and they kind of have the business part figured out, right? I mean, if we can create a welcoming environment to welcome them to our community, more power to us. But I see us focusing more of our attention on the dolphins. So as you talked about, making sure they're plugged in and trained. Can you talk to us more about your approach with these dolphins and how you go about finding that? And I mean, we're using this as a kind of a parallel, but these dolphins are the smaller businesses that support bigger businesses and support your community. So how do you go about finding them, learning about what they need, addressing those needs, just the day-to-day grit, I guess, of what it comes down to is supporting these businesses?
Well, in our community, we really are about building relationships and building a community to help you grow organically. So, we really preach the message of inclusiveness from a business perspective. So our small businesses, which most communities are small businesses, you just hear more about the large businesses, right?
Right.
So, our smaller businesses, we really are working to make sure that they've got their financial house in order. And if they don't, here are the tools through our programming to help them keep their financial house in order, especially when they're going out after contracts. I mean, really understanding sort of that cash flow model that, you may not be getting paid the same week because you've got an invoice, and are they net 30, net 45, net 90, depending on how they're working with their contracts, on being able to leverage lines of credit so that they can offset that cash flow demand and stay open and pay employees and that sort of thing. And then building their long-term marketing and branding strategy, and through some of our, member partners, on what that looks like. So yes, you have the contract now, but let's look at what's down the road for 6 months, 2 years, 5 years from now. So really working with businesses in phased approach, so that 0 to 2 year phased approach, the entrepreneur who has a passion, who started a business, who's hustling. And, I love an analogy, killing what they eat when you're hustling as an entrepreneur. So they're in the market and they're running on that little hamster wheel. So we work with them on building capacity. And then, okay, they're making some money. They're ready to kind of take that next leveraged approach. And then you've got kind of those 2 year to 5 year businesses who now can go after some significant contracts of business for the long term and put some things into place. And we really want to, launch their businesses. So by the time they get to that 5 year mark, that they are the name that comes up in conversations when thinking about their services, their goods, their products, and the next piece of business that's on the table. And so we work really hard with our chamber member partners on that education so that they can build not just the business today, but really a sustainable lifetime business.
Right. So I know as businesses join the chamber, they join for a variety of different reasons, right? Maybe it's just what they see on the surface. Maybe they have a friend and they hear about your gala and they really think that's a neat thing, or they're in it for networking or whatever. So you have this member engagement person on your staff to help share what the full array of services are. How, besides having that member engagement person, how do you make sure people are really fully participating, or at least knowing about everything that you have to offer? And how do you offer some of these things? So some of the education, some of the that you had mentioned, marketing and branding strategies. Are these in-person kind of seminars? Are they, what's your approach?
So Brandon, I might disagree with you just slightly. I might say businesses join for one reason, and that's to make money.
Sure.
And the other pieces is how we deliver that. And so for us, we deliver it in a phased approach. So, Brandon at Chamber Chat decides they want to join the chamber. They've heard amazing things, as you all do, about your chamber, and they decide to pull the trigger. I'm going to join. So what our onboarding looks like is you've joined. We now team you up with an ambassador, which is pretty traditional across our industry. That ambassador is a member, just like you are, who now walks you through all the things that they think are important for you to get involved with. And they stay with you for a year and build this tight community of relationships with you. They meet you at events, they talk to you about different programs, and really create a roadmap for your engagement and things that you can do. Because we do more than just what one member would want. And I tend to tell people all the time, you can't do everything because you got to do other pieces of your business, but really work with them on building that roadmap. And then at about the 90-day mark, my member relations person, my engagement person, sets up a meeting with them and says, hey, because we're tiered, which means you don't just join the chamber, you join and you tell us how you want to engage with us. What value of engagement do you want? And so based on how you've said when you've invested on how you want to engage with us, our member relations person is saying, hey, you said networking and marketing is important for you as a new business because you've got to get your name and brand out there. We're 90 days in. We still have some pieces that you haven't done yet. Let's schedule them for the next 9 months, because sometimes what will happen is a member will join. They forget the thing that brought them to the chamber, or they only do that one piece. We have a 200-person luncheon every month. So it's like putting on a gala every month. And so a lot of members join because they want to come to that one event. But we do so much more that our member engagement person will say, here is your list of 30 benefits, whatever that list is. Let's go ahead and schedule them for the whole 12 month of this annual investment. That way you're not forgetting about your membership. We're also making sure that we keep your brand in front of our members for the whole year versus delivering all the benefits in the first 90 days, 6 months, 4 months, whatever that time frame is. So the engagement person really works with each member on those benefits and getting them across messaging for the whole 12 months of their annual investment life cycle.
I think that's a brilliant idea, to sit down and say, here's the main things that would be of most value to you. Let's get them on the calendar. Let's make sure you show up. Let's make sure you participate and be fully engaged, to the extent of what you need for your business to succeed, to meet those expectations of
Correct. And we do have, like many organizations, we do have some automation that we can do with that too, some sort of like a drip automation to remind certain tiered levels that these things are coming up. We've got some concierge service in that related to our member engagement person. So much like a concierge at a hotel would work with the hotel guest on making their reservations for the theater or the next show, we have some concierge services built into our membership. So at certain investment engagement levels, larger companies, our whales, right, they might have someone that manages all of their benefits at that company. And we have some concierge services that allows them to work with us. They're not going into the system. They don't have time to log in. We take care of all of that for them.
Yeah, no, that's so smart. As you're explaining how you guys, approach this, I see all these little rabbit holes that I can go down. For example, and we don't need to go way down this road, but as your member engagement person reaches out and is helping to plan out the year with each of these members, is the idea of sponsorships for any of these events ever brought up, or does that responsibility fall on somebody else within your organization? Or I'm sure people listening here, oh, this is great to schedule this out, and you can give them the opportunity to sponsor, one or two of these things.
Yeah, so we take a little different approach to sponsorship. We actually work with a national company called YGM, Jason Eby, giving him a shout out. And we run sponsorship once a year for the whole year. And here's the reason why. We work with our members to match their need to fit in front of the right audience with the opportunities that we have. And it also creates space where we're not going back to members several times a year going, hey, we've got this program. It's amazing. Do you want to sponsor? We make one ask. We talk about what their marketing budget is for the chamber. We have volunteers that help us with this campaign. And then we take their marketing budget, much like we do their investment benefits, and spread them out for the year. We take their marketing budget and spread out opportunities for the full year. So we've been doing this for 3 years, and it really does do an additional piece is that chambers are not chasing money to find the sponsorship to do the work that they want to do, that our members are really telling us in front of the year what things are important to them with their checkbooks. They're sponsoring the things that make sense for them. So if you've got this program that you've been holding on, you've got, the sacred cow that you've been holding on to, and no one is sponsoring it, and you're trying to beg people to sponsor it during your campaign season, then maybe it's not what your members want. I mean, members talk with their money.
Yeah, no, that's very true. As we start to wrap up here, I wanted to ask any tip or action item that you may have for listeners who are, desiring to take their chamber up to the next level. What might you suggest for them?
Yeah, I would say, the retention part, right? Everybody focuses on sales, getting the new members. Everyone focuses on sales. I'm a defensive coach. I believe that if I can keep you from shooting, I don't have to worry about how many shots you make, right?
That's right.
I believe that if I can keep you in, I don't have to worry about getting the new are going to come.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, that one tip is think about how you strategically organize your teams, because we've heard it for decades that how it takes less to keep a member than it does to recruit a new member. So we flipped the funnel on upside down, and we put the funnel of the retention, because then if you're working on retention, you all of a sudden have 600 cheerleaders that are saying, come join this organization. And so for us, we've turned the ownership to the members. It is their chamber to grow. It is their responsibility to refer.
Yeah.
And we are 85% referrals on our new members that come in. And
That
so,
is awesome.
I mean, that makes my salesperson's job easier because it's a warm close, right? We're not going and doing cold calls anymore, right? There's a new model out there. So we are so referral based because we're telling the members, if you want more people to market, network, build relations to, bring them to us. If you've enjoyed your membership and you're getting benefit from it, refer your friends, refer your other referral group connections to our chamber. And we've built that way.
Yeah. No, those are great points. And I love the idea of focusing on retention. And if you keep them for the long term and over time, your membership fees will increase naturally, and your membership continues to grow because they're getting value and bringing people in, and just the overall health of the organization continues to get stronger. And you're not focusing on, like you said, killing what you eat, and just constantly going after the next one each week. You're able to grow in a healthy and sustainable way. So that's a great model you guys are following. I like asking everyone I have on the show, as we look to the future of chambers, how do you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward?
Well, I think we will continue to be innovative. Chambers look different today than they did 5 years ago. If they don't look different today, they didn't make it through the last 3 years, right? And so we've got to continue to take risks. Our businesses demand it, and we need to follow their direction. So, for instance, when businesses had to, open, chambers need to open so we can service them. And I know, we remained open during this past 3 years. We look different, right? So we are not stuck to traditional models of what work has to look like, because our businesses are not stuck to traditional models of what work needs to look like. So I think using industry as the model, our chambers across the country need to take the lead, because they're able to shift so quickly, and so should our chambers be able to do. There's no more, well, we've always done it that way. Okay.
Yeah. And there's being able to be, flexible and make that shift, follow the lead of your members. There's, coming out of the last 3 years, there's a lot of, innovations that allow for you to be more productive, to be able to service your members better, to be able to connect with them, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's a scheduling, mechanism or app or something, ways to connect that we, 3-4 years ago, we weren't using on a regular basis.
That's exactly right.
And now it really allows us to get a lot more done and be a lot more efficient, and in the end, serve our members in a better way. So great insight into the future.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So Danielle, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share any contact information for listeners out there who would like to reach out and connect and learn more about how you guys are doing things there in Chesterfield. What would be the best way for them to reach out and connect with you?
Yeah, so all of us are pretty active on all social media. You can find us at chesterfieldchamber.com. On social media, we are Chesterfield Chamber VA, and as in Virginia, because there are a couple other Chesterfield chambers in the country. And so since this is a podcast, I'll make that notation that we are Chesterfield Chamber VA. Just follow us, like us, follow us on Instagram, and if you message us there, we will message you and contact you back. Also on LinkedIn. I mean, we are crazy LinkedIn people in our community. So, and I will say, we also host Blitzer, which is, one of these new pandemic platforms. And so we open it. And so occasionally I'll get businesses from all across the community, across the country, that'll come into it and network, because business does not have borders.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as we talked about earlier, with those dolphins supporting whales outside of your community. So
that's right.
Very good. Well, I appreciate that, Danielle. We'll get your contact information in our show notes for this episode, so people can find it there. But I feel like we've had a great discussion today. You brought a lot of value and perspective, and I'm sure listeners are taking some notes of things that they can implement and discuss. Making some changes to be more productive in serving the businesses in their community to build stronger businesses and in turn a stronger community. So thank you for being with us today and sharing your experience and insights.
Thank you for having us.
If you are a chamber professional, please subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. When you subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast, new episodes will show up in your podcast app each week as they are released. If you're finding value in this podcast, please leave us a rating and a review in iTunes. But most importantly, please share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues that are in the industry. Have you ever thought about creating a podcast for your chamber? We always hear about how chambers need to be storytellers. What better way is there to tell the stories of your members and the work of your chamber than through a podcast? Your audience is waiting to hear from you as a convener of leaders and influencers, champion for business, and catalyst for change within your community. I just launched a Chamber podcast course with the goal to get your very own podcast started within 30 days. Visit chamberchatpodcast.com/pivot to learn more and to enroll in the Chamber podcast course today.